Late Night in the Midlands is an alternative media that covers the truth, theory, and fact that the lamestream media won't talk about. We cover everything from the known and the unknown, the normal and the paranormal, the government lies and the government ties, and even their thrive. We tell what's coming, what's going, whether it be politics or archaeologists. We have an amazing fan base, and our shows are all archived to be heard millions of times more. So tell your friends, your family, and anybody you care about LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Become a member and be informed.
Get your morning started with the Morning Brew on 92.6 The Blitz. Music from the 60s, 70s, and more. The Blitz 92.6. Go to radiorocktheblitz.blogspot.com.
Free Talk Live.
You give someone an ounce of liberty and they'll go around abusing it and harming everyone else with it.
If we legalize guns...
People will be shooting people everywhere.
Right.
If you legalize prostitution, people will be having sex on the street corners. If you legalize drugs, we'll have heroin vending machines in the streets. We've heard it all on Free Talk Live. They take it to the most absurd, illogical extremes, and you're absolutely right, Alexander. It's okay for them to have freedom.
Yeah, you can give them a gun. They won't go around shooting people. But watch out with their neighbor, because you give them a gun, they'll go around in a rampage around the city killing everyone.
But yes, they can be trusted, and apparently the government can be trusted too, because magically, we only elect the best of the best, the cream of the crop. The bureaucrats that are administering these programs are the upper echelon of society, the most trustworthy individuals.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes when I squint, I swear I can see a halo above their heads.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Are you tired of the mainstream media? The media that is so biased, you wouldn't even let your dog listen to it? Well, there's an answer. Angel Clark.
On RadioFreedom.us.
Just listen to her fans.
One hell of a writer. I've read a considerable amount of her articles and quite impressed.
Until Angel, my life was void of meaning.
I want to thank you for saving my goldfish from drowning.
I love Angel Clark's honesty and her down-to-earth concern about the people.
She is very dedicated.
Angel, we need you.
Angel's a sexy woman. I think she's going to go places, but I don't know where.
Ladies and gentlemen, she does a good job.
If it wasn't for Angel,
you saved his life, and I will be indebted to you forever. SussexCountyAngel.com.
Be a part of Angel's Army.
Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. on RadioFreedom.us.
Free Talk Live.
Do you guys have a zombie plan? I'm just wondering what this country's going to do if we had some sort of apocalypse like that.
Like a zombie attack.
Do?
People coming out of the ground, like in Thriller, like in Michael Jackson's
like 28
Thriller.
days later, like a virus or something.
Oh, okay.
I mean, people don't come back to life.
Well, no, there are different kinds of zombies out there.
Now,
but let me go through the types of zombies. I mean, you've got the ones that can crawl out of the ground, right? And then she was talking about like an infection kind of zombie, like a la Resident Evil, for instance. So ideally, if you're going to have to perish at the hands of a zombie, which would be the preference? Would you prefer to have your brains eaten, or would you prefer to become one of them?
I think I'd rather just die. The last thing I'd want is, of course, the people you split up with. Then I'm talking my wife and my child. I'm coming back. I'm wanting to eat Laura's brains. It's bad. It's bad.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. What does freedom mean? Tune in to LRN.FM to find out. LRN.FM is the Liberty Radio Network, a collection of live talk radio and podcasts, all coming from a principled pro-liberty perspective. LRN.FM show hosts aren't left, right, or conspiracy kooks. You can tune in 24/7 to LRN.FM via your phone, computer, satellite, and more. Listen free anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Hey, folks, this is The Views Expressed live right here for the 25th of March, 2014. For those listening to the first hour, I clicked the wrong button. Button, who's got the button? Join me on the Spreaker chat, if you will. And if you're not already there, please get there. Spreaker.com/Free Liberty Radio. Or actually, just go to Spreaker.com. You'll see Free America Radio Network. Click on that, and you'll be in the Spreaker chat. Anyway, I hope that those folks over on Waking Up the Masses didn't think that I just shut the show down because, hey. I didn't. I made a mistake, folks. Let me go over to wakingupthemasses.com, over to the live section, and tell those folks over there I'm back. I clicked the wrong button, okay? It's like, stuff like that happens. Okay? Stuff like that happens. So anyway, hey, let me ask you all a question, because, questions are cool. Questions are cool. It doesn't seem to be playing over there on wakingupthemasses.com. Hey, Mr. Bob. Anyway, I know certain things that others might think, well, that's a bunch of crap. But let me ask you a question, and the question is real simple. Question's really, really simple. If you knew that something was true and you had to convey that to someone else, and you had all the information in front of you, and you knew that all the information was correct, and you knew that everything that you were doing, whoops, oh God, I've got that going on. If you knew that something was true and you had all the information to back that up, would you not give that information to someone else? That's my question. If you're with a friend and you're talking to your friend and you're there speaking with your friend and you knew something that your friend did not know, and you had the truth and you had the facts to back it up, would you not be obligated and responsible to tell your friend that information? I mean, seriously. Would you not think that it would be your responsibility to say, in the back of your mind, in the front of your mind, in your mind at all, you're saying, should I tell my friend this? Well, let me give you a scenario. I've been here, so I know this scenario quite well. I've had to tell friends that either their boyfriend or their girlfriend was cheating on them. Do you know how hard it is to be with your friend, how difficult emotionally it is to tell your friend that their boyfriend or their girlfriend is cheating on them? Because friendship is just that. Have I lost friends because I've told them the truth? Yes. But then they weren't real friends, were they? Huh. So if I were to, or if someone were to come to you and give you information of things that are going on behind the scenes, outside of your purview of life, outside of the things that you see, don't you think it would be my responsibility to tell you what's going on? Don't you think that at some point I would have to tell you? And what's my point? It's real simple. By the way, if you want to join me in chat on the Spreaker side of things, please do. Go to Spreaker.com, click on Free America Radio Network, check it out. Or better yet, go to freeamericaradio.us, go to the show page, check that out. Anyway, My point is this. When we look at the geopolitical structure of the world, and we look at the likes of China and Mexico and Russia and Denmark and Switzerland and Australia and the United States and Canada, and when we look at all that, if we do look at all that, we often look at the things that are wrong with those countries. And we usually talk to people about what's wrong with those countries, do we not? I've seen reports and heard people say that they've gone overseas, talked to people in England and in Germany and places like that, and the thing that they say that these people see is everything wrong with America, with the United States. Everything wrong. There are people who actually have said that the United States of America is the largest police state on the planet. There have been, and I've seen interviews with some people in Russia speaking through a translator that said that Russia has far more freedom of speech than America does, than the United States does. Folks, is that sad? Can I verify this? Go to YouTube. Type in Russia citizens' freedom of speech. I mean, go to startpage.com and look that up. You know? Some people said that the United States of America should adopt the laws that Mexico has. Well, you know what that means? That you and I would be unarmed. Hello? We like our guns. So think about it. If you knew the truth, would you not be obligated and responsible for disseminating that truth with the facts? Well, that's what this show is about, folks. The views expressed, as my friend says, it's my views. No, it's not. Not always. Because I read you articles, I give you other people's points of view, I show you exactly what's going on, so it's their perspective as well, and their views. It's not just my view. If it were, it would be something else. Now, the Wayne S. Pierce Show that I have Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, you can say that that's my view. But I also read articles and give you other people's points of view. Truth from the Right on Facebook put up a photo. Obama has wronged us in so many ways. It's a picture, and it says, a Muslim shouting death to America can be put on the terrorist watch list. Cannot be put on a terrorist watch list since Barack Hussein Obama had it rewritten, if I can speak. A war veteran shouting support the Constitution can be put on that watch list. Are you waking up yet? I want as much information as you can give to me about what's happening in Michigan and other parts of the United States with Sharia law. And I need to know why these people in these states, such as Michigan, I have family in Michigan. I have family in the Upper Peninsula, in the Upper, as they call it there. I have family in Ann Arbor. I have family in Lansing. I have family all over Michigan. My father is from Michigan. So I got family all over the place, and I want to know what is going on. Why are the citizens of Michigan being lied to? Or why is the rest of America being lied to as to what's going on in Michigan? Please, that's a big deal, folks. That's a big deal. Because if Muslim Brotherhood or Muslims just want to tear apart the Constitution and institute Sharia law, well, I've got a couple of, let's just say I got 10 reasons why you shouldn't. And they're very pointed reasons. But I want to know what's going on in Dearborn, Michigan. Send me numbers, phone numbers. Send me information, who to talk to. Email it to me, freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. I want to know exactly what's going on. I don't want to sit here and not have any information. I've got some, and I've read that article, some of the article to you, so I've got some of that information from that particular point of view, but I need to know from the people in the trenches. Okay? I want to know exactly what's going on. I just think that it's important, well, not only think, I believe and I know that it's important to the rest of the listeners to know what exactly is going on in their own country that they call home in the United States of America. Have we sold out to the Muslim Brotherhood? Did you know that there were and are members of the Muslim Brotherhood in very prominent places in the Department of Homeland Security and other departments in Washington, D.C.? You didn't know that, did you? If you did, thank you for doing your research. Honestly, I've completely had it with people in Washington, D.C. You can say what you want, you can do what you want, doesn't really matter. You're a human being, regardless of your color, regardless of your religious or political affiliations. You're a human being in the land of the free and the home of the brave. Now grow some freaking balls and be brave. Because you're a free individual. And make our founding fathers proud, because they fought and died and went broke to give you what you have today. Brian Lang, if you happen to be listening, or somebody can pass this on to him, if you're out on that overpass with those people holding them signs, I want some video, because I will post it on the website at freeamericaradio.us to show just what it is to rally together with others who believe in peace, freedom, and security for this nation. And I got a message for those police officers that want to go out and cause trouble. We got this thing called the law. And we will stand on the law and not violate it, like some police officers I've heard of. And if you even want to step close to us and take us to the hooscow, as they say in the South, I guess that's what they say. Bob, is that what they say? If you want to harass us, in other words, then remember this. We'll get a hold of the Rutherford Institute, and we'll see you in court. Now, if you haven't already, come join me in the chat room on the Spreaker side of things, or go to the website at freeamericaradio.us. Join me in the show there. Just click on the little box, and there's a little thought box up there, I guess, a little little thing there. Type away in that little chat box there and I'll see it. But I'm sick and tired of people going, but it's just, you know, I find it incredibly odd that people cannot get up off their butts and go out and do what needs to be done to protect their cities, their counties, their states, their families, their neighborhoods, their neighbors, and even their state. Civil disobedience works, folks. It does. A lot of people don't think so. A lot of people say, well, yeah, it's just, I don't have time. I don't want to get arrested. I don't want to get beat up by a cop. I don't want to get shot by a cop. Hey, I got another message for you police officers that are steroid heads and all pumped up on adrenaline and thinking that you're going to go out and take care of these people. I got a message for you. There's more of us than there is of you. Bring it on. Because we will defend ourselves under the law, by the law, with the law. And if you want to stare us down there, Mr. Shiny Badge, you and your gun, you better think twice. Because the next place you'll see us in is in court, suing you and the city for everything they got. So you better start reading your Constitution and your Bill of Rights, and you better ignore all those damn rules and regulations from your bosses. Because we, the people, have the power, not you. We are your masters. Because we have the Constitution and the Bill of Rights backing us up. What do you got? Your corporate-led, locally funded unions that are bought and paid for by the elites. You remember that Barack Obama said that we needed a civilian force just as well funded and just as powerful as the military? Are you buying into this? I'm not. Yeah, you can tell I'm a little frustrated at people who just cannot and will not follow the law, including the district attorneys and the state attorney generals, including the law enforcement of all branches, state police, sheriffs, city police, oh, and those private individuals. Yeah, we know you're out there. The private law enforcement that is far beyond what the general public will ever see. Oh, am I touching a nerve? Oh, I know all about you. Yeah. I'll tell you how I know about that on a later date. Oh, you don't think that we just got these, officers in our city police that are spread out so thin that you got to wait a half hour before you see one if something's happening in your home? Huh. Why do you think your cities, and your states, got MRAPs? Why do you think your local law enforcement got over 10,000 assault rifles? Why do you think your area has gotten, 5,000 now? I think the number went up. armored personnel carriers. I know, the MRAPs, right? Why do you think DHS and the National Oceanic, Administration, NOAA, whatever it was, yeah? The Weather Channel? Why do you think the IRS, why do you think the government just bought or is contracted to buy 2.5 billion rounds of ammunition? Oh yeah, I know all about your clandestine troops. And it's not your local police department or your sheriff's office or your state police or your highway patrol. Yeah. I know all about that. In major cities across the U.S., there are, let's just say, departments without a name, but they operate in the shadows. Yeah, go check it out. Chicago, New York, San Francisco, Sacramento, Las Vegas. Oh, yeah. They're all out there, folks. And I'm pretty sure in Detroit, Michigan, they have a few, too. Oh, they're right out there. But how do you think, or let me ask this question pertaining to that. Why do you think any city would want to accept any military equipment for its law enforcement? Why? It's a good question, isn't it? Something for you to go check out, huh? I don't know. How do I know all this stuff? Well, I do my homework. Go to freeamericaradio.us. Check out the website. If you can help Free America Radio Network get to the next level, please do. If not, no problem. Thank you. Appreciate that very much. We are on wakingupthemasses.com. Thank you, Bob Brutus. Yes. I want to give a big shout out to those two, Mr. Bob Brutus over at wakingupthemasses.com and also Brian Lang at Live Truth Radio. Now, you see, most of the stuff I've talked about for the last hour and a half is straight out of my memory, the things that I've learned over the past 30-some-odd years. And I guarantee you that if you'd look them up, please, you would find the same thing I'm seeing. Okay? Let me ask you a question before I go to break here, and we'll be back after that in about 3 minutes. Why are there Israeli and Mexican and Pakistani and Chinese military on U.S. soil? Makes you wonder, doesn't it? I'll be back right after this. Email freeamericaradio@usa.com. Website freeamericaradio.us. The President of the United States turns the country into a dictatorship. And what happens after he does? Find out in the book Dictator-in-Chief by Brian Keller. Available at Amazon.com or CreateSpace.com. Eastland Radio Repertory Theater is looking for you. Are you a voice actor? Do you want to hone your abilities? Please send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com. We are currently looking for voice actors to fill certain character roles in an ongoing radio play in development. Please send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com.
Lock it on to the best station on the net.
For all you independent artists, musicians, and filmmakers, there is a place for you. Radio Rock 92.6 The Blitz. Go to radiorocktheblitz.blogspot.com. Hey folks, this is The Views Expressed right here on the Free America Radio Network, broadcasting live on freeamericaradio.us and wakingupthemasses.com. How y'all doing? Got a few minutes left here. Let's go over to 21st, that's the number, 21stcenturywire.com. Exposed neocon tool Liz Wall embarks on rear guard public relations defense tour. Yeah, that whole thing where she quit on RT live on air. Yeah, that was all a setup. That was all a ruse. That was just a bunch of crap. Yeah. Let's go check out some of the U.S. news. Okay. It's interesting, folks. Very, very interesting. Thank you, people over at wakingupthemasses.com for listening. And sorry, I'm not in the chat room. And about a half hour or so ago, I hit the wrong button and the show went off of air. So my apologies. So anyway, we're back. And now, let me go here on 21stcenturywire.com, and I'll post this in the Free America Radio Facebook page. Sandy Hook was not like Columbine. Expert whistleblower tears apart government story. 21st Century Wire says the official government narrative of Sandy Hook continues to unravel this week, and this was 21 days ago, March 4th, 2014. In his most candid and detailing interview to date, decorated National School Safety Executive Wolfgang Halbig raised serious concerns and identifies a long list of anomalies and unanswered questions surrounding the Sandy Hook event that took place in December of 2012. In addition to being one of the country's foremost experts on school safety and emergency management, Halbig was also a veteran response worker assigned to the tragic Columbine shooting in Colorado in 1999. Comparing the two events, Sandy Hook and Columbine, Halbig can see no similarities in law enforcement reaction, crime scene management, and in fact presents a strong case that Sandy Hook appears to be a staged event. For what purpose, he does not speculate, complete with a narrative, props, and actors, followed by a comprehensive government cover-up, one that reaches the highest levels of local and federal law enforcement, FBI, and leading all the way to the White House. Oh yeah. I will put this up on the Free America Radio Facebook page. Please check that out for more information. Everything is staged, folks. Everything, including the elections. There is nothing that makes any sense anymore. Nothing at all. Nothing. Okay? I find it odd, Dog hears strange sounds, tilts head, odd. That people cannot and will not accept anything outside of the quote-unquote official story. But once they do, I find it very encouraging that these people will want to get as much information as they can, if not for their own curiosity, maybe to tell someone else or to blow the whistle. So I am encouraged. Okay? I am encouraged by these people who wake up and who realize what's going on. 21st Century Wire. Let's go to international news. Patrick Henningsen, who runs 21stcenturywire.com, I would say is one of the most educated individuals about Bilderberg that you will ever meet. I have never met him, but I've read his material. He's very knowledgeable. As of, well, there's nothing new here, but I will read you an older article that is up there from June 14th, 2013. Bilderberg's discussed gaming the world financial markets, indicating a scandal even bigger than LIBOR. If you don't know anything about LIBOR, I would suggest checking that out. You can go to 21stcenturywire.com, click on International News, and you can see a whole bunch of stuff there, and under Bilderberg, you will find that information. I want to put this out here because it's very, very important for you and your children. As of the 4th of February, 2014, 21st Century Wire reports rotten to the core, government schools Common Core indoctrination. I was talking to a family member and they told me that Common Core, where they are at, is a wonderful thing, fantastic. My God, my family member is blind, okay? Completely sold out to the liberal left bull crap that is now being propagated. It's Common Core. Did you know that Bill Gates, yes, that Bill Gates, funded and is still funding Common Core? And he's going to, him and some other partners that he has, is going to create this thing called World Core Curriculum. Can you say New World Order? Over the last half century, the public school establishment in America has achieved enormous results if the intention was to dumb down the population. The term public is fast becoming archaic since the current age promotes an internationalist culture of interdependency where the state defines institutional roles and sanctions accepted standards. The public plays virtually no effective role in this process. For this reason, the proper term to use is government indoctrination centers. Let me give you another one, folks. Governmental indoctrination institutes. That's my words. Continuing, bringing back the McGuffey readers as an alternative to the school syllabus of Common Core would be a step in the right direction. Our Dysfunctional Public Education is No Accident essay lays out the correct standard. Quote, education needs to be about teaching the tools, methods, and process of how to think. The mission of the instructor is one of developing the intuitive nature of inquiry that is natural in every person, training the intrinsic urge of curiosity as the means of discriminating and rational thought is the prime goal of the educator. But to achieve this level of tutoring, the teacher must be founded in their own understanding and logic and analytical thinking. In today's classroom, social engineering has replaced Aristotle, Locke, and Kant with the latest celebrity multiculturalism, unquote. The Common Core site attempts to outline the purpose of worthiness of their education standards. Sounds like a noble goal, however. What is the reality? Yeah. Let me give you this paragraph right here. Quote, as a natural outgrowth of meeting the charge to define college and career readiness, the standards also lay out a vision of what it means to be a literate person in the 21st century. Indeed, the skills and understandings students are expected to demonstrate have wide applicability outside the classroom or workplace. Students who meet the standards readily undertake the close, attentive reading that is at the heart of the understanding and enjoying complex works of literature. They habitually perform the critical reading necessary to pick carefully through the staggering amount of information available today in print and digitally. They actively seek the wide, deep, and thoughtful engagement of high-quality literary and informational text that builds knowledge, enlarges experience, and broadens world views. They reflectively demonstrate the cognate reasoning and use of evidence that is essential to both private and deliberation and responsible citizenship in a democratic republic. In short, students who meet the standards develop the skills in reading, writing, speaking, and listening that are the foundation of any creative and purposeful expression in language, unquote. Dr. Susan Berry presents a wealth of information and resource links in her article, Common Core, Rooted in Math, Class, Social Justice, Indoctrination. Quote, while proponents of the Common Core claim that the new standards are focused on, quote, college and career readiness, unquote, more evidence is surfacing that a central purpose of the initiative is social justice and income redistribution indoctrination, unquote. That one example sums up the dilemma. She continues, quote, radical math boosts over 700 lesson plans, articles, charts, books, and websites that cover a wide range of socio-political issues, including redistribution of wealth, discrimination against the poor by whites, corporations, banks, etc., and the message that widespread racism against blacks continues in the United States today, unquote. Now, compare this critical appraisal to the lofty mission of math back in the Common Core mission statement below. How can this statement below square with the above practice? Quote, this is in Common Core, quote, for over a decade, research studies of mathematics education in high-performing countries have pointed to the conclusion that the mathematics curriculum in the United States must become substantially more focused and coherent in order to improve mathematics achievements in this country. To deliver on the promise of common standards, the standards must address the problem of curriculum that is, quote, a mile wide and an inch deep, unquote. These standards are a substantial answer to that challenge, unquote. Now, continuing. Integration into the 21st century business and social model is the ultimate intent of the Common Core objective. Nowhere is there a debate of what kind of future mankind wants and the kind of reality that all human beings are intrinsically part of. Those questions require the study in humanity and education and liberal arts training that are quite different from the instruction in the algorithm programming. The worldview of this Common Core inculcation presupposes that society accepts their premise as a fait accompli. I don't know, it's Latin. I don't know Latin. Continuing, their technocrat approach to instruction demands that authentic education must be marginalized, if not outright eliminated. The traditional Christian cosmology has no place in this brave new world. Check that phrase out, folks. Continuing, the article, Common Core's Negative Impact on Education and Biblical Literacy, explains the destructive nature of this dehumanizing standardization. Quote, the central organizing theme of the Common Core ELA standards is that study of creative literature must be diminished in favor of nonfiction, quote-unquote, informational texts. The idea is that students should be drilled in the types of documents they are more likely to encounter in their entry-level jobs. And make no mistake, Common Core is a workplace development model, not an education model. The fundamental problem with the Common Core approach is that, to achieve its job training goals, it recognizes no difference between one quote-unquote complex text and another quote-unquote complex text. A great work of literature has value far beyond the complexity of the words used. It allows students to understand the eternal human condition. It allows them to confront human challenges that recur throughout the ages. It teaches empathy, prudence, forgiveness. It transports the readers to places and times not their own. The Common Core ELA standards are, quite simply, indifferent to this type of education. Training, not educating, is their goal. They are not interested in helping students become the people God created them to be. They are interested in creating workers, unquote. You can just hear the profane condemnation of the American Federation of Teachers and the National Education Association opposing the mere mention of God in their secular temples of perdition. Irony excluded how biblical revelation dare be debated in a non-judgmental culture of relativism. At the heart of the government school establishment is an unending choir of fallen angels that preach their vision of paradise while demanding even higher budgets and far greater control over the indoctrination of their impressionable guinea pigs. America is now a country stuck on stupid, greatly because of this unholy and apocalyptic system that dooms our society. Moving to Common Core curriculum has the intent to eliminate the last remnants of independent school boards. Homeschooling is also threatened, as the article, What Homeschool Parents Need to Know About the Common Core, argues. One factor is the century-long effort to nationalize and standardize American education. The standardization efforts have their roots in, Dewey, Cubberley and the schools of education at Stanford and Columbia. They picked up steam in the 1960s and 70s as the national teachers' unions gained more power. They strengthened more when President Jimmy Carter fulfilled a promise to the NEA by creating a separate cabinet-like level Department of Education. Both those have to go. Okay? Continuing, the educrats dream of a day when every student in America will receive exactly the same education using the same textbooks and lesson plans. Those textbooks and lesson plans will, of course, be developed by the best and the brightest who will pass them down on tablets of stone. The worker bees and drones will be programmed to follow them exactly. This is a nightmare scenario, one which anyone who believes in individual rights, local control, and federalism should oppose at every opportunity. The Common Core standards become dangerous when they form a stepping stone which helps move the educrats' vision forward. Unquote. Top-down control always is intended to eradicate the voice of the individual. Under a national coordinated imposition of federal funding, local school districts have become dependent upon the conditional requirements of conformity to keep the money flowing. So what is the solution? From the, quote, dysfunctional public education is no accident, unquote, article. Quote, reform is no longer possible. A federal Department of Education hastens central controls for social compliance. At this point, an education free from public schools has more value than going through the disinformation that is currently being taught. The errors that are learned in childhood are more difficult to overturn than if they were never acquired in the first place. So what exactly is the advantage in an education under government-approved instructors? If you want to reverse the decay of moral aptitude, you must find alternatives for the education of your children, unquote. Common Core pronouncements sound so nice. In spite of this, the key question is whether their program of study teaches the principles of developing good citizens. Lest we forget, a good citizen is an independent thinking and rationally responsible trained advocate of liberty and moral values. Maintaining and expanding a structure of mindless and obedient state compliance is ridiculous. Our founding fathers were distinguished, well-spoken, and skilled in the understanding of human nature. Today's specimens, hatched from government schools, are chicken-livered dimwits that aspire to the lowest paradigm that a Common Core can establish. The miserable failure of the taxpayer collective education system is undeniably by any judicial measure. Rest in peace before the entire nation dies with it. I want to make this perfectly clear in the last 8 minutes of the show. First of all, I am all for personal education. I am all for each and every single school that you send your kids to, relying on you, the parent, to tell them what those schools are going to teach them, period. Indiana just got rid of Common Core curriculum. There's a lot of states that got rid of it. Why? It's freaking dangerous. Like it said, it's not about educating the kids to think for themselves and to learn and all of it. It's not that. It's about building worker bees. It's about the collectivism that is just coming through from the tyrants in Washington, D.C. It's not about individualism. It's about collectivism. It's not about freedom. It's about slavery. It's not about education. It's about dumbing down your kids to put blinders on them and to turn your asses in when you start thinking for yourself. I don't know about you folks, but I'm a little pissed. I grew up in Stockton, California. I went to school there, and I got a damn good education. As much of the bull crap as they were teaching me from the time I went to kindergarten to the time I graduated high school, I sifted through it, found what was right, and did and learned on my own what I needed to learn. And I was far ahead academically than everyone else in my class. I'm speaking specifically about my English class and all of that. There were other classes that I just had a hard time in, like science. Now I love science. Back then it was, I didn't know. But there were certain levels that I had reached in my class. And I couldn't go any farther in class, meaning in the grade that I was in. So, I did minimal work. I got my credits. And I got the hell out. From the time I was in the 9th grade, I was bored as hell with school. Everything I was learning in the 9th grade was boring because I could do stuff not only from the 12th grade level, but from the college level. That is how intelligent I was. The counselor looked at me one day and said, "Yeah, we know your scores are really high. Why aren't you getting, higher grades per class?" And I'm like, I'm bored. There's nothing left for me to learn, at least I thought back then. And when you're, 16 years old and telling your counselor that, they kind of, raise an eyebrow. Nowadays, if your kids told the counselor that, they'd probably think, oh my God, he's got ADD. We got to give him some drugs and dumb him down. I'm not bragging, folks. I'm telling you the reality of the situation. Our educational system when I grew up wasn't all the greatest in the world, but it was enough to help us know right from wrong in reading, writing, and arithmetic, okay? I had an electronics class in high school. I've got an electronics and electrical background. I've got music background. I've got all this background on me. And no one wants to hire me. I wonder why. Not because I don't know how to do the work. Excuse me. Not because I don't know what I'm doing, not because I haven't done it before. It's because they don't want to pay me what I know I can make. And that's the other thing about Common Core. Let's just make everyone equal. Let's not have your student, your daughter, your son be exceptional in their class. This started back many years ago with quote-unquote participation awards. Oh, my son made a great grade. He's up there. Yeah, great, wonderful. My daughter won the trophy for this. Yeah, but we have to give everyone else a trophy because they feel left out. We're coddling the kids, folks. And Common Core is putting them at the same level, saying you are going to be in that gray little uniform. You're going to be in that gray little uniform. You're going to be in that gray little uniform. And guess what? You're all going to be the same. And no one's going to be exceptional. And no one's going to be better than anybody else. Because you're all the same. That is what Common Core is driving at, folks. And if I'm wrong, I will admit to it. Bob Brutus, you're awesome, man. WakingUpTheMasses.com. Check out his show, Kicking the Capstone, right there on Waking Up the Masses. Brian Lang with Live Truth Radio. Also on Waking Up the Masses. Check that out as well. A couple of other shows, I'm sure, coming to the Waking Up the Masses network. I want you all to know that you can ask me anything you want. No question is off limits. If I don't know, I will tell you I don't know. Free America Radio at USA.com. Free America Radio at USA.com. Check out the website at freeamericaradio.us. Donate to the cause. Help get Free America Radio Network to the next level. If you're unable to, don't worry about it. All right? Help out as much as you can. Send me some articles that you write. I'll post them at freeamericaradio.us for everyone's enjoyment. Ladies and gentlemen, it is one of those days. It's one of those days. And I will definitely be here tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Check out the podcast I did, the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast. Check it out on the WayneSPierceShow.weebly.com site and or Spreaker.com. And, I will be here tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on Free America Radio Network, freeamericaradio.us, and wakingupthemasses.com. We the people have the power, for we are America.